Good evening, everyone. Marcus Bradley, founder and host of the XY Perspective. Wanted to have an open discussion with you guys tonight. The topic of my discussion tonight is Black American or African American and the appropriateness of the descriptive terms. Now, I want to preface this by saying this is not about heritage or culture or many of that. What I want to discuss is it still appropriate for us to call ourselves African American? Yes or no? That's what I want to know. But if you give me a yes or no, I want to know why you think so. So that's what we want to talk about tonight. But I also wanted to remind you all too of our next upcoming call, Following the Leader with the XY Perspective. We go live Tuesday, September 26th, 7 days from now. We're going live, 8 p.m. Eastern, Following the Leader. And it goes over the state of Black male leadership in America. It's going to be hot with a capital HOT. It is going to be hot. Panel is ready for that one. We are ready for that one. It's going to be a good one. Click on the same link well, not the same link, but another link that I'm going to provide for that one if you want to join in. Sorry, ladies, you can't be on the panel, but you can jump on and give your opinion either in the comments or by contacting me, and I'll get your comment read on the show if you want to. But tonight, that's on Tuesday, Following the Leader. XY Perspective goes live. Tonight, which descriptive term is more appropriate for us today? African American or Black American? I had all my panel members invited in at 9:15, so they'll be in here soon. If they want to, they'll join in and give their perspectives. But I put the link in the comment section below, so you should be able to see it. Just or go to my YouTube page or my Instagram page, Coach M. Bradley, and follow the link there. And you'll be taken to StreamYard. You may have to download the app, StreamYard. I can't get but 10 people on the screen at a time, but as many people can join the room and let their comments be heard. But this one's open for the public. This one's open for everyone. If you have a comment, I want you to tell me yes or no to the question, but then tell me why, yes or no. And while we wait for people to join, if anybody's going to comment, just some stats. Hey, I like to start out. I know y'all watching the game and everything. So, if you want to join in, it's cool. The Colts already won, so I'm happy with that. Then Alabama won an ugly game, so I'm still happy with that. Roll Tide. But we're going to go over this, and I'm going to give y'all the book definition first of Black. Book definition is a dark-skinned person of African descent, no matter the nationality. That's Black. Now, African is a person born in the United States and have African ancestry. Now, I know a lot of y'all may be like, man, we're all from Africa. Yes, everybody in the world's from Africa. That's where it all started. I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is it's still appropriate for you to describe yourself as African. Yes or no? Where do we get the Black term from? Skin color. So if you're going to base everything about me off of my skin color, just describe me as that. Black. I know I'm of African descent. I know I have African ancestry. Just look at me. And if you look like me, we got the same thing. But am I African? No. I'm not African. I'm of African descent, which technically, yes, I am African. And I know Dr. Umar would be like, yeah, we're all African, Pan-African. And I got that. And I'm not disputing that. What I'm asking on the question is it more appropriate to still call us African Americans when we're really Black Americans? Now, usually I invite people to jump on. I put the link in the comments. You can get on the link, come to StreamYard, get on this post, and join me if you want to. Is it politically correct? Yes. I mean, they're interchangeable. Black American, African American. Yes. Is it politically correct? Yes. But our race is black. Our ethnicity is African, right? But are we true African? Yes or no? If we were true Africans, we would either be born on the continent or have parents that were born on the continent, and we would be, you know, considered more African than we are. But we don't even look like Africans now. When I went to Africa, they could tell immediately. I'd have to open my mouth. They knew as soon as I got off the plane in Cape Town, they knew I was not from Africa. But hey, I felt like I was at home. But can we still call ourselves that? Do we practice African culture? Do we practice African traditions? Do we eat African foods? Do we have African ceremonies and religion and worship the little g gods? And do we dress like Africans other than trying to appropriate the style? And do we have family practices like Africans do? There are a lot of traditions and cultural beliefs that we would think are pagan, but they're normal, true African. A lot of us practice Christianity. We're separated from that a lot. Now, again, we still have the ancestral connection to Africa. We are always African. You can just look at us and tell. But are we Americans who are black or African American? There's a white lady, an actress who was actually born in South Africa, migrated to family, came to the United States. She's a white lady. She's an actress. She is a true African American, but she would never describe herself that South African. Her skin is not melanated. It's like this. So she is white American because she would never describe herself as an African American, even though she has dual citizenship because she was born there, African American. Is it fair for us to still call ourselves that? And I just want to know yes or no. I know to get it, if you'll be tempted to argue the point of, man, you're trying to distance us from our culture. No. I just wanted to know the appropriateness of the term. Let me give what I'll write down here. Negro and colored. If somebody called you a Negro or colored today, you'd be offended. Right? You'd be offended. But in its day, it was appropriate. And then, we just went along with it. I ain't black, baby, I'm colored. That kind of stuff. It was appropriate. Now those terms are dated out. Nobody uses that. To the point now it's offensive. And in Africa, when I talk to Africans in Cape Town, and I'll be going back to Johannesburg this November too, thank you. When I talk to Africans, they were offended that we called ourselves African American. Have you ever been? I'm like, no, this is my first time here. And you're not African. I mean, that's the term they gave us. But they take offense to that because they are true Africans, live on the continent, practice the culture and beliefs and religion and foods and garb. African. Black American, that's who we are. And that's more descriptive because that's all they use the descriptive term for is our skin color. Black is a dark-skinned person of African descent, no matter the nationality. Jamaican, Haitian, South American, Central American, all these people derived from Africa. They all got the melanin to prove it. So it's still appropriate, yes. But African American is still too also appropriate. So we're not taken away from our culture, we're not taken away from our heritage, we're not taken away from our ancestry. I, and on the XY perspective right now, want to know if you think that it's still appropriate to call yourself African American or Black American, and why? If there was a new generation started every 20 years, so that would be 5 generations every 100 years of slavery. Let's keep it, simple math and go 500 years. Go 500 years. So that's 25 generations from the original African enslaved people that hit America. 500 years, 25 generations removed. This is my rough estimation. After about 2 or 3 generations, they started to breed the African heritage and religion and culture out of us. We were Black American slaves or enslaved. We were Black American enslaved. We were probably, after about 3 or 4 generations, we were no longer African. We were Americans because parents, 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 and here we are, 25 greats down the line, great, 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 great granddaddy, grandmama. I was born in Montgomery, Alabama. So was my mama and her mama, probably their mama and their mama. There's no African about it. It's American like mine because we was all raised in the church. Praise God, Jesus, faith in Christ, faith in Jesus. Nothing African about that. And I know people say, oh, Christianity was in Africa. Okay, yes. But I'm not here to dispute that. What I'm here to say culturally, traditionally, we're more American than we are African. Our beliefs, our practices, our everyday life. I bet some of y'all still believe Africa's huts and lions running all loose in the streets with kids with pot bellies and flies flying around their eyes. Because that's all you've seen of Africa. Not it. And for us to only know that about Africa shows that we're not as African as we think. In some tribes in Africa, it's traditional to, at 12 or 13 years old, they take the boys to the bush. They go out in the bush until they become men. They have their ceremony out in the bush. They come back. Now that ceremony consists of a lot of things that we would abhor in the United States. Like, you ain't doing that to my child. But if we live there, it would be standard practice. But still, not to dispute that, because it was wonderful to hear the news, to hear the stories. But learning about it culturally is like, man, we are so far removed to the point where now most things that were considered, like, say, standard practice, voodoo, hoodoo, whatever you want to call it, the medicine man, the shaman, before all of the westernized culture came, the shaman and the witch doctors and the medicine men of the tribes, they were next to the chief. You know, what they say kind of went. And in the westernized civilization, doctors can pretty much tell you what your life expectancy is. You got 6 months to live if you got some form of cancer. That's how important it is. It's still the same culturally, but we are removed from the natural herbs and things. We're getting back to it. A lot of us get back to it, but we're removed from that because that's not culturally or traditionally what we practice in the West. So again, I ask you, is it appropriate to call ourselves African Americans or Black Americans? Are we Americans who are Black, or are we actual Africans who have came to America? Because the African ancestry part, a person born in the United States and have African ancestry, yes, we could claim it both, but is it appropriate? And that's what I want to hear tonight. Again, I'm not trying to take away from culture or heritage. We are 25 generations removed from original African enslaved people. Are we more Americans who are Black, or are we still appropriate to call ourselves African American? It don't really matter either way, but I would still like to hear your comment on it. Uh, if you have anything to say on it, or just anybody, I want to hear from you. I want to look in the let's look in the guest room real quick, see who we got, if there's anybody here. Not yet. We don't have anybody yet. The invite is open. The link is still open. Give me one moment. I'll be right back with this. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. All right. Let's see what we got. All right. We got someone here. Somebody here. All right. There we go. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just had to answer a couple questions, get some people the link that they needed. Again, click the link in the comments. Get I got it up on the screen there. If you can copy that somehow. Get on here. Get into the StreamYard app. Jump on and let me know your opinion on the question. The appropriateness of terms African American or Black American. Which one is more suitable? Which one is more appropriate for us today? No, it's a hot topic. I know I'm competing with the NFL tonight, but who cares? Yeah. Like I said, the Colts already won. So, what is more appropriate? African American or Black American? Again, if you want to jump in the comments or get on screen, I can bring you on screen. Click the link. Come to StreamYard. Join the studio. I will bring you on live and you can give your comment to the world. We are on YouTube Live, Facebook Live right now, and my XY Perspective page as well on Facebook. We are live right now. So I'm only going to stay on for a little while. I'm not going to, like I say, stay on too late, but I still would like everyone to jump in as quickly as possible. Even if you only just get in the comment, jump in the comments. I'll get your comment up on the screen. So you can answer the question and then elaborate on your answer. Which term is more appropriate? Black American or African American? Again, I'm not trying to take away from heritage or culture, more so the political correctness of the term. Because again, 50 years ago, we were called Negro and colored, and that was acceptable. And African American became more popular around the 80s. And that, that's been the term now. Is it still appropriate today? Because, like I said, if somebody calls you a Negro or they called you colored, you'd be offended. Those terms are dated. Is African American a dated term for Black Americans or not? Yes or no? I would like to know, because it's part of a more important conversation that we need to have, because we've been separated from our original ancestors for so long. We forgot. We forgot. We don't pray to them. And some people that do, they think like, things like burning sage at an African wedding. They burn sage. Man, that's not acceptable. Is it? It's African tradition. We don't follow those. We don't follow the culture. We don't eat the food. Like I said, we don't even look the same, except our skin color and our hair. We don't even look the same. So Is it still appropriate? Yes. We got our first guest. Let's bring him on to the stage. Welcome to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jesse Archie, my brother.
Man, what I tell you about using my government name?
Hey, I got to give you your props.
Man,
Like
don't be giving no
your
props. How
government
you doing?
name, man.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. What's your opinion on the question tonight, sir?
Your question tonight is if you don't mind stating it for me.
The question of tonight is which is more appropriate, African American or Black American? And we're not gonna break down heritage or culture. We want to get to the political correctness and the appropriateness of the usage of the term. So that's where I want to start it at.
Well, nothing is simple. You know that we live in America,
Right.
where everything is meant to be challenging, even the language itself. So
Okay.
African American would be of Africa and America.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking verbiage right now.
Right.
Black America would be Black American,
Okay.
but so
But
we
which one
are
would
we,
you
we are
think?
not you are not an African American if you were born here. You are it's just because they're not European Americans.
Right.
You know, we're going to base this off of the language,
Okay.
not emotions, not feelings, not culture, not heritage. We're going to base this off the language.
Right.
So
I mean, I agree. Let me read you the book definition. The black. Black is a dark-skinned person of African descent, no matter the nationality. African
e-
is a person born in the United States and have African ancestry. So, do we still meet the African qualification, or are we just more Americans who are black?
well, see, that's what I said. That's where the verbiage gets tricky
Mm,
because
how so?
because it's like I said, it's meant to disqualify you because you're not American, you're African American.
Right.
We're talking about verbiage. We're talking about I'm saying the words themselves. It's to disqualify you. You're African American versus just American. Now, like I said, to get dual citizenship, I've got to go over there and ask them for permission, and it's a whole lot. And then we got to ask America if hey, can I have dual citizenship so I can be African and American? But based on the language as it's written, we are not African Americans. We are Americans.
Exactly. I
Now,
agree.
like I
I
said,
agree.
that's the language part of
Now, ancestrally and heritage wise, you can tell I'm of African descent.
it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
just
aren't
look
we
at
all? Aren't we all?
it. We should be, but
No, 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 no. Aren't
when
we
we don't,
all?
we should
No,
all be
no,
African.
no, no, no. All humans.
Right. That's what I'm saying. We should
Are we
all be
all
African,
from Africa?
but we're not.
Um, um, trace it back far enough. Yes, we are.
No, I'm saying that when you talked about it earlier with Europeans, Asians, Indians, Russians, the nationalities come into play. That
Mm,
separate
that's
that
that's not.
separation.
No, no, no. Nationality is the term meant to divide people because you
Exactly.
separated nations. So it's not nationality. It's basically, it's climate. Where do you live in the world? How did your body naturally adapt to your living environment?
Right.
This is science. This is
Right.
this is proven fact. So, in a warmer, more humid climate, you need broad nostrils. Hotter, drier climates. In a colder climate, you need more narrow nostrils because the air will be too cold, it'll freeze your lungs. This is science. I'm not a scientist either. These are just the little things that I learned. I'm smart enough to be dumb. Let's keep that in mind. But like I said, that's we're all from one place.
We're all from one place, yes.
Yeah.
So your answer probably aligns with mine on this one, that I don't think we still meet the qualification to say we're African American, but we're more Americans who are black. And that
See,
still, even though that term still separates, it
yeah,
kind
see,
of,
there you go with qualifications and how you now you're telling people we're not qualified to be Africans, and
are
then
you?
that's that. Am I? Yeah, yeah. If it's in me, yes, I am. Yeah. Why am I? Why can I not? If it's in you, why can you not claim it?
Oh, yeah. But is it appropriate to describe yourself as that?
Is it in your ancestry and you're proud of it? Don't all everyone else do that? Everyone else does that. Ask a white person where they're from, and they will tell you where they're from. I'm European. I'm Greek.
Yeah, but
I'm
they
no,
they won't say
I'm
I'm an
Irish.
Irish American,
No, they will tell you where their ancestry's from, though.
right?
They'll tell you.
And we
Yeah,
can, but you can just look at a black person and just know their ancestry is from Africa.
yeah, but you didn't hear what I said. They don't say that if they're from Europe. They say exactly where they're from. You know,
Mm,
that's something we've been stripped of. They know where they're from. They know their lineage. They're not saying I'm European. They're saying, like I said, they're saying I'm Italian. I'm German. I'm Russian. I'm Irish. I'm
okay,
Scottish. They
but
know where they're from.
right,
We don't.
but just by looking at us, we do.
We know it's Africa, but there's Africa's is just is a lot like Europe is a lot like Africa. There are many countries in Africa.
Hmm.
They're all there. There are several different tribes there.
Right, and that's the whole point of the question is which one is more appropriate, because we don't know which
What
tribe or which
appropriate for
country
what?
in Africa we're from. We just know we descended from there. Is it more appropriate to say I'm African American, or am I an American who's black, a black American?
No, I'd say I'm American of some type of native descent. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think that what's the gain of either one of these?
I don't know if there's anything to gain. I just want to know if everyone understands the difference and the importance of the difference. Because if both of my parents were first generation, they came right out of Ghana, both of my parents,
Let me ask you this.
and they gave birth to me in America. I am a Ghanaian American or African American because both of my parents were African. So I'm directly descended from them. I'm African American. But here we are as a people, black people, we are 20 or so, 25 generations removed from those original enslaved people. I don't think we meet the standard to say I'm African. I'm more American than I am African. And that's not,
What do you do with the rest of your history? What do
say
you do?
again?
What do you do with the part of your history that you can't find? You just forget about it because you don't know
No,
for
no, no,
sure.
no, no.
It's just gone. What do you do with that?
It's hard to hear you, bro. Let me turn this up. I'm sorry. Maybe it's my volume. Okay,
I said,
sorry.
what do you do with the rest of your history? You just throw it away because you
No,
don't know.
you have to find a way to research it and study it.
So let me ask
And
you this:
uh,
are you preferring the term that it just be all we all just be called Americans?
well, as a citizen of the country, yes, but I know that'll never happen. It's like I was in the army. We were all called soldiers. No matter what we looked like, we were all called soldiers because it was all part of one team. Now, can they exist outside of the army? No.
No, no, I'm not one
Will
team.
there
No,
ever be
no.
equality in America? No. Will there ever be like a level playing field? No. But I'm still more Americanized than I am Africanized. The ancestry, the DNA is here, but I've been in America my whole life. I've only visited Africa, you know. So I wouldn't call myself an African American descriptively. I would call myself a Black American. I know I'm of African descent, and I know I have African heritage, and I know where we came from on the exactly on the continent. No, I know we came from there a long time ago. And I did my 23andMe and all that stuff, and like 92% African, West
West
African, and
African. Yeah, yeah. See, that's the thing. They 23andMe. That's all they're going to tell you. Oh, you're
yeah,
West African. Yeah. So yeah. That's easy for y'all to say.
yeah,
You got to do. There's an African ancestry that you would have to do to get more specific because,
yeah.
like I said,
And
that's
I plan on getting
the
it up.
easy answer is West Africa. Oh yeah, you're probably right. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
that's
were
where we
slave
picked y'all up
trade.
from. So yeah,
Yeah. That's the easy answer. You
that's where you got on
know,
the boat, West
there
Africa. So
are
yeah,
many
that's where.
many countries in West Africa. So like like I said,
Uh,
get in
I,
a get in
I
strange
would like
territory there.
us to not forget about the culture or heritage or history. I would like to be taught more in schools. I would like everybody to home teach if they could, so they can get down to
I'd
the
like to
real.
hit the I'd like to hit the lotto. I'd like to I'd like to lose some like weight. I like to be able to eat all this good food and the weight just fall off. I thought we were throwing out wish lists. My fault.
Oh yeah, that is wish. Those are wishes because that all points to the importance of understanding not only who you are and where you're from, but where you're going.
I'm going to make me a sandwich in a few minutes. I do know that.
Yeah, yeah. I am getting a little bit hungry myself, but I'm glad you stopped by to give your opinion. Uh, as far as culture to traditions, religion, family practices, I think we're about as far from Africa as we've ever been, and each generation gets subsequently further to where it's I didn't think it was 50 years ago appropriate, but it's even less so now appropriate to only describe anybody that's black as African American. You know, you dark skinned, you African. That's it. That's it. You know, and you don't like I said, they come from Jamaica, they come from Haiti, they come from Virgin Islands, South America, Central America, anywhere.
Hey, well,
But
if you do the Thanos snap, you can erase like everybody that remembers anything about like segregation or racism, and then you can start over, and then you can get rid of that. But I think that we need to like find a way to start moving on to the next step. You know, Black African, African American, Black American, whatever we are, whatever we want to call it. I think I think it's one of many talking points that people get caught up on to prevent progress.
yeah,
I don't mean this by you in particular. I just mean by, it's something that's talked about in a way to where it's just kind of it's more of a conversation than anything. A conversation that doesn't go anywhere because you can't change what it is. So what I'm saying. Are we going to let these these two words flip one way or the other, or not? They're at all defined. Us, or we're going to sit here and ponder on this for a generation.
well, that's the thing. That's why I was getting to that point of where we're going, and where we're going is important because do we stay Black Americans or do we try to
But we can't be white
exodus
America.
back to the continent and become more Africanized than we are now?
Man, listen,
And within
there's
the
too,
next two generations, I
there's,
think we should definitely make that move towards that
there
because
are some countries in Africa that are welcoming black people back. Not all
oh,
of them. There's some of
with
them that are.
look with no visa,
You
I
got
think
some,
it's
yeah,
4 countries now that are letting
yeah,
Black Americans move back with
yeah,
not even a visa. You can just show up
yeah.
and they got
You
you.
can
Come
come
on
back.
in.
Yeah. So what I'm saying. It takes things like that to happen. But I don't
It's
know.
it's
I'm gonna just
it's a
stop there.
long road. It's a long road
Yeah.
to go, but I think we're on the right path. And this conversation, even though it may seem like where is it going? Like there's no point to it. It is a point because again, we're trying to figure out who we are and where we're from so we can know where we're going. And if we think we're still tied to the continent just because of this descriptive term, we got another thing coming. We're not African. We need to get back to it, but we're not African like the term says we are. We don't have the ancestry. I mean, we don't have the heritage. We don't have the culture. We don't know the history. We don't eat the foods. We don't do any of that stuff. Practice the religions. We don't sing the songs. We don't do any of that. Speak the languages. We don't know. So I further insult true Africans by claiming I'm just like you simply because we have the same skin color. No, I'm not. But I am ancestrally from where you are. And that's what connects us, the ancestry, not the descriptive term. I'm an American who's Black. And I would love to become an African citizen. So that's where we're going with that. And you probably eat now. That's why you ain't said that.
Yeah. Excuse me. I told you I was hungry.
Hey, it's about to be over too. I know I've been on here now over 36 minutes. Like I said, Jesse, man, I appreciate you coming on, giving your
I
opinion
told you,
on
man.
the
Don't listen
subject.
to me. I'm smart enough to be dumb, so don't ever listen to me.
Well, hey, next Tuesday, 26 September, we're going live, the XY Perspective. Jesse is a member of the XY Perspective panel for year 2. He's already brought some terrific energy to the panel.
Is that what we calling it?
Terrific energy. It's well needed, and everybody's grateful for it. The shows are always great. It's always live. And this next subject, the state of Black male leadership in America. Yes, sir. It's gonna get hot. I got some fire questions, and I know I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, but it's needed. And these are important conversations to have. And that's going to be this Tuesday coming up, September 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern. Follow the leader. The XY Perspective is going live. I'll be the host, Marcus Bradley. Jesse is going to be on the panel. The other members are going to be there, and it's going to be hot. But tonight, as me and Jesse has talked about, the appropriateness of Black American versus African American. So I know some that eats up some of y'all, that it's like you want to argue about leaving your ancestry or forgetting your history, separating yourself from. Oh, it's already been done. No, we can call ourselves whatever right now, but that separation has already been done. We're generations away from that. So what are we going to do moving forward to pull us back closer to the homeland? What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? But sorry about that. Something happened. Okay, we're back. I don't know what just happened. Um, I'm not going to hold you too much longer, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to get some more perspectives. Like I said, I know I'm competing with Monday Night Football and American football, because I guess in Africa we call it soccer. But and that's real important for some. I don't know this is a sensitive topic, but again, we have to understand who and what we are, so we'll know where we're going and why we're going. And calling yourself an African American still attaches you to the continent, which nothing is wrong with that. But the fact is, we're not attached to the continent. We have the same skin color and hair as Africa, but that's about it. Like I said, we don't even look the same facial feature wise. And I just think it's more appropriate to call us Black Americans and then understand what that means to be Black in America, because that's what we are. And that's what I want to get this point across before I sign off. To be Black in America is different than being an African American. It's different. And because we're Black in America, we're subject to things that African Americans aren't, because they're not from here. They can always, when somebody says go back to where you came from, I ain't going back to Alabama. I just roll with the tide playing football. I'm not moving back to Montgomery or anywhere in Alabama if I ain't got to, because yeah, it's not where I want to go. So somebody says go back to where you came from. No, because I'm not going to Montgomery. There's two things you can do in Montgomery. One of them is leave. So that's how I see it. Um, but we are not as attached to the continent as we think. And because we are Black in America, that means we must do something to now pull ourselves back towards the continent. See, separating us first was what was needed. Now, this togetherness with this Blackness, we'll use that to build ourselves up and push ourselves back to the continent. We're not going to find what we're looking for here in America. And we're going to touch on this subject on Tuesday. Malcolm X was right. We need our own. And we had our own on the continent of Africa. We had our own. Still got it. We're just not there. And our mindset is such that we can't even fathom living in Africa. Man, I ain't going to Africa. Why not? That's how I see it now. And before, I was contractually obligated to the United States military. I served 23 years, retired as, honorable American tradition soldier all the way. I'm done with that now. My service is complete. My service to the country is complete. Now I'm free to say and do what I want. And what I say now is it is not appropriate to call us full African Americans simply because of our skin color. Yes, we are descendants of African enslaved people. Yes. We're just Americans, though, who happen to be Black. And because that distinction is put on us, now we have to work together as Black Americans to pool together our resources, our common knowledge and strength together to take us back home, our true home. And I know some of y'all can't wrap your minds around it, but there are people over there now who are waiting on us. Governments in America, governments in African countries are now starting to open the border. You can just come there, Black American or Central American or Caribbean, Virgin Islands. You can just come to the country, no visa needed, and they will grant you citizenship and make you an African. Now, of course, they do want them American dollars. Yes, they do. But where all the resources coming from anyway, the continent, and that's a whole nother thing. Big part of that as well. So we call ourselves African American, which is fine. But I think it's more appropriate to call ourselves Black American and honor that distinction so we can use that to bond with each other. I'm Black, you Black, let's do this. You my brother. Why? Because we Black. And as we bond together and unite together, get our own and then get ourselves up out of here. That's the end. I think that's the end game for us, is getting back to the continent. So that's just my personal opinion. It's almost been 45 minutes, y'all. I appreciate you all for joining me and spending time. Jesse, as always, I appreciate you, brother, for joining the call uh, and giving your opinion on the subject. Again, the link is still down there. You can jump in the comments, give your opinion on the question, the appropriateness of Black America. Black American and African American. Which one is more appropriate for today? I'll respond to all the comments that come in, or don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube page. Join my Facebook page, the XY Perspective, and on Facebook as well. Just just keep following. Keep following. These conversations are needed, and we're going to use all of this information to educate the masses. We can all bring us ourselves together. So Tuesday, September 26th, we go live. Follow the leader, the state of Black male leadership in America. It's going to be a lovely call, hot off the press. I look forward to seeing you all there. Y'all have a good evening, and we'll talk to you then. Good night, everybody.